Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great Friday so far. Today, I'm coming at you with my final update video on my custom Lego Mandalorian and Baby Yoda custom minifigures just in time to celebrate the Mandalorian Season 2 starting to stream in exactly 1 week. And of course, I have been hard at work on these two off and on since the previous update videos, posting all the progress to Patreon and also doing Instagram streams, and of course demonstrating how I've been making some of the 3D pieces on the Mandalorian in my previous tutorial. But now we are in the final days before the new season begins, and I'm basically for the next week going to just crawl under my rock and finish these figures because there's still a really good amount of work to be done on these two customs, and so I definitely want to make sure that I make as much progress as I possibly can in the coming days. So you're not going to see any other videos from me this week until the Mandalorian Season 2 showcase. And I just wanted to really make that clear because I need the time to just focus on finishing these two. And now I want to cover some of the processes that I have been focused on when working on the rest of Din Djarin. So of course, in my previous update video, I basically showed you what I was doing with the sculpted arms primarily and kind of starting on the strap and some other early stuff that I was working on. But since then, I have painted all of that armor. I've got the whistling birds painted. I mean, the shoulders and the gauntlets are all painted with weathering. I've got tiny tactical glove tops applied. I even have the hand armor painted on now, but more importantly, I've been focused on the Mando's legs. And so once I had those prepped and ready to go, I was pretty much doing the exact same processes from that previous tutorial I posted here on the channel, where I'm just basically taking bits of shipping labels like this strap, for instance, and, you know, cutting it to a sufficient length, maybe cutting some round corners on the edges to make sure that it properly fits with the back slot of the minifigure leg, and then essentially putting it in place, wrapping it around the leg to approximate where I need it to be, then bringing in the brush on glue, putting some underneath there, either with the brush itself or sometimes with a separate push pin, and then holding it down, gluing a strap like this in place, and just basically doing a lot of these same processes because I did the same thing for like the thigh armor pieces, for example. Painting the thigh armor was definitely something that was slightly tedious because of course paint does tear around minifigure thighs, and so when you're adding armor pieces like this, you definitely have to be careful not to sculpt too much, not to add too much paint, because you really want to limit how much you're gonna have passing underneath the minifigure's belt, so you don't want any paint to tear here. And I could have added some more definition to these pieces, but instead I opted to paint a lot of the detail on instead. Something I did on an Instagram live stream recently was make the holster pieces for the Mando, and I did like glue the backing on there, and I got the main holster carved out of some heat adhesive, and then both of those pieces I glued on there. I think I did all of that live, if I'm not mistaken. And then one thing that I've been focused on with the Mandalorian, you can kind of see me working on that here, is painting these stitch marks. Now, you don't just see these on this holster backing area here over on the right thigh, but also running around the arms, because that was something I did shortly thereafter making How To Episode 4. And essentially what it is just kind of following the process that I already showed you guys in my very first painting tutorial, where I establish one line, get one edge correct, then overlap with the secondary color. In this case, it was the dark brown, for instance, both on the holster backing here and then also on the Mandalorian's arms. And then once I have the lines in place, I would just basically approximated where I needed separation marks. And thankfully, stitching can be imperfect, and so I was able to kind of have a bit more freedom with how I made these series of lines work. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Definitely had to sort of study the reference to make sure that I was staying accurate to his new Season 2 differences. And now though, after how long has it been? 10 months, I got started on Baby Yoda. So, of course, this was very exciting for me to finally do. I have been sitting on this brilliant cast by Tuminio for quite a while now, as some of you know, and essentially for Baby Yoda, I took a good amount of inspiration from my buddy Aaron, LM9 Productions Baby Yoda. I saw his, like, many months ago around the start of the year, and he used these magnetic arms, and it was really cool, so I decided that it would probably be in my best interest as a customizer, and just for Baby Yoda to not be kind of stuck in that stiff Lego baby position where the hands are just like facing front to essentially start with a whole new body. And so what that meant was getting a couple new Lego baby pieces and then using one to just grind away the arms. So I would have the arms detached separately, and I did this with a drill. And then once the arms were separated, I basically then had to snip away some excess plastic and then sand away all this roughness that you see. That was really important, and I had to be very careful with this because of course you don't want to damage the hands too much while doing this. But then I took another baby body and then removed the arms from that one as well, but that one was going to be for the actual torso itself. And then I essentially went in with my drill once I had the micromagnets LM9 referred me to show up from Amazon. And this part was challenging because I had to drill these holes in there without going too far in to where I hollowed out the inside of the torso, because I definitely drilled enough to the point where I was starting to kind of see through the plastic, and that's when I knew I had to stop. But these holes also had to be positioned right, they had to be defined enough, they had to be deep enough to support these micromagnets, but then I also had to do the exact same thing but inside the actual baby arms. And that was the scarier part, because there obviously isn't a lot of plastic here, and I was getting concerned while doing this that I might either drill out of the edges and like destroy the upper shoulders, or I might drill through the arms and then have another problem, because I really didn't have any extra baby pieces aside from the ones that you see here. But thankfully it all worked out in the end. I will tell you, gluing the micromagnets in place was a huge pain because I screwed it up I think at least 2 or 3 times, where I just simply had the magnets facing the wrong side, or I was getting too anxious and I wanted to make sure I had the magnets glued in the right position, and then when testing them the magnets would essentially fly out of the glue because they hadn't dried yet, and I would find out that I had them glued in the right way, but I would also have ruined it. And I battled with that, like I said, at least 2 or 3 times, and it was definitely a little challenging. Now I've already posted Baby Yoda and what he's currently looking like over on Patreon, and you'll see him at the end of next week. But I'm so happy with how he's turning out. The head paint job, you know, little effects on there like within the ears and the hair and all that stuff that you guys are going to see soon, and the wrinkles in the clothing. He's turning out so well and exactly how I imagined, and he looks so great next to the Mandalorian painted, and I can't wait for you guys to see them together at the end of next week. But I still have some other stuff to do, like painting Din's jetpack, a separate cape when he's wearing his jetpack. I have to paint the rest of his leg detail. I have to paint Baby Yoda's cradle and finish Baby Yoda himself. So there's definitely quite a bit of work still ahead of me. That doesn't even include the rest of Mando's back detail, the detail on the brick arms weapons. I've got a lot of work ahead of me, and that's why I established at the start of this video I am going dark. I am hiding under my customizer rock for the next week until I finish these guys, because I want to make sure that hopefully I can have my custom Mandalorian and Baby Yoda that I've been working on and off now for a month ready reasonably around the release date next week, if not on it, if I'm able to work efficiently enough. So I will see you guys on the other side. Again, as I've mentioned throughout the video, the progress has been going up over on Patreon, and you can see Baby Yoda there right now. And also I will eventually compile all of the footage I've collected of me making these 2 customs, and then do a couple more in-depth videos talking about some more details on the processes that I otherwise did not cover in these videos here on the channel. That's always there if you'd like to consider supporting the channel that way. And I probably will do a digital Photoshop edit with them together at some point and post that over on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I post all of my teasers like that I design. And now though, that is really going to do it for this video, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me, and yeah, I'm gonna go crawl under my rock now and customize for the next several days. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.